So, welcome everyone for the meditation session, day two. I hope you all uh, did your homework and had some time to reflect on what we discussed yesterday. So, we'll start with meditation today, uh, and then we'll continue with the mind, how the soul functions. Right. So, sit very comfortably. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Take another deep breath. Release. With every breath, release a part of your body. So relax your feet, relax your legs, your thighs. My back is relaxed. My stomach is relaxed. My shoulders are relaxed. My neck is relaxed. Moving upwards, my face, my cheek muscles, my forehead. My entire body is relaxed. Nothing of this body is pulling me. In this stage of being physically relaxed, I'm able to bring my attention to the center of the forehead, where I, the soul, the master of this body, resides. I am a pure, peaceful, happy star. I am a holy star. I, the soul, radiate peace, love, and happiness. Rays of peace radiating from me, reach every organ of this body. My body is peaceful. Rays of happiness radiating from me, reaches every cell of this body. Every cell in my body is happy. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. So now that you're peaceful and happy being here, we'll continue. We'll just review what we saw yesterday. So what we saw yesterday was that this Raj Yoga meditation connects us to my true self and to God. To understand my true self, I need to understand who I truly am. So the true meaning of human being. So this is the physical being, which is the body, bodily relationships, everything related to the body, the house, money, culture, religion, name, title, gender, role, everything else, other relationships, everything with the body. And I, the soul, am beyond this body. I am a tiny little star, a tiny point of light, energy, metaphysical energy, consciousness, whatever we want to call it. This is who I am, little tiny point of light radiating. And we watched the video yesterday. The soul uses the body to express and experience. The soul just by itself cannot express and experience. So it needs the body to express and experience. So I, the soul, not that I have a soul, but I am the soul. So I am the soul who is the master of this body. I sit here just as the driver sits in the car, in the driver's seat. What is the driver's seat? It is the front seat of the car, right? The driver sits in the driver's seat. So it is right here. This is where I, the driver, sit. And I'm driving this vehicle. I'm driving this car. So I'm the master of this car, which is this body. I, the soul, I'm eternal. I'm immortal. I don't die. I'm eternal. Just as we know, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So the soul, being this metaphysical energy, can neither be created nor destroyed. It's eternal. In physics, we know the concept of eternity. Everything that we see with these eyes, everything that we see with these eyes is all perishable. It's not eternal. It's all perishable. It can be destroyed, right? It's something that we don't see with these eyes is something that is eternal, imperishable, and immortal, which is the soul. So another awareness was that I, the soul, am a guest in this world, in this body, and I'm just using it just as a guest would use the resources or the house that you're renting. You use it, you enjoy it at that for that particular time, and then you leave. Okay. So, and then we saw that the original qualities of the soul, my original qualities, are all this: peace, love, purity, happiness, knowledge, bliss, and power. So these are our qualities. We have forgotten that this is who I truly am. I started looking for these outside. In relationships, I started looking for love. In situations, I started looking for peace. In material things and possessions, I started looking for happiness. Now think about it. You get up, if you think, if I get this car, I'll be happy, right? And you get this car. And the next day, someone comes and hits your car. What happens to the happiness? It's gone. Forget the next day. You're just driving the car out of the showroom, and right then someone comes and there's a scratch on the car, and immediately we feel so upset. So that means that happiness was really temporary. So what is true happiness? Again, it does not depend on anything physical. It is my inner state of being. Peace is my inner state of being. Love is my inner state of being. Right? That means that I am being love. What has happened is that we have forgotten that we are this being, and we became the one who is doing. So instead of human beings, we became human doings, that we focus more on doing things, getting things accomplished. This is my aim, this is my target, I have to get this done, I have to get this done. And we are running behind all of that, forgetting the experiences that the life or that present moment can actually offer me. So, spirituality brings us more into the awareness of being in the state of peace, being in the state of love. So, when I'm being that, I don't have to make effort. I am that. I'm being that. So, what I will express is love. What I'll express is peace. So we know that what happened is we have this layer of algae, and this is how we express ourselves in terms of mixture of virtues and vices. So let's move ahead of how does the soul function. So we know that the soul sits in the center of the forehead in this body, and we saw that the brain is separate from the soul, right? Brain is a physical organ. Brain is more like an interface between the soul and the body. So whatever thought the soul, we create, the brain is an interface, and it just relates it through the neural network to the body and to the organs. So how does the soul function? When we look at and for those of you who have studied science or biology, for those, when we study about the human body, we know the anatomy of this human body. What is the anatomy? The organs, right? So we have heart, we have lungs, we have kidneys, stomach, we have the respiratory system, and we have the digestive system, all of that. So that's like the physical anatomy, right? The heart is physical, right? Brain is physical. So let's look at the anatomy of the soul. So the soul, who I am, I have three organs. The soul functions through three organs, which again are not visible because the soul itself is not visible. So one is the mind, the other is the intellect, and the third is the impression. Okay. In Hindi, this is called sanskar. Okay. So mind, intellect, and impression, which is called sanskars. So what does the mind do? Can we see the mind? We can't see the mind, but we know that mind exists, because what does the mind do? The mind creates thoughts, or the mind thinks. What are the different types of thoughts that we have throughout the day? So we basically have about 4 different types of thoughts throughout the day. And research has shown that we create around 40,000 to 50,000 thoughts a day. So we create 40,000 to 50,000 thoughts a day. Do we remember our thoughts? If I were to ask you that since morning, you've been up for say like past 4 hours, or for those of you joining from India and you've been up for last 12 hours or so, you have already created, for those in India, you've already created around 35,000 thoughts. And those of you who are here in the US, and you have already created about 4,000 to 5,000 thoughts. Do we remember our 5,000 thoughts? We don't, because our thoughts are categorized in 4 categories. Okay, so the first is positive thoughts. What are positive thoughts? Thoughts that are based on virtues, right? So thoughts that are based on peace, love, and something good about someone. Positive thoughts. We all know positive thoughts. Then next are negative thoughts. Negative thoughts are thoughts based on the vices, right? And of course, those were the algae, it's the five: anger, lust, greed, attachment, ego. But there are more. There's like jealousy, carelessness, laziness, making excuses, hatred, dislike, just gossiping, all that. So, all that is negative. The third is necessary. Necessary thoughts. Thoughts that are necessary, like I'm thirsty, I want to drink water, necessary thought. Someone rings the doorbell and I go and open the door, necessary thought. Hungry, I want to eat, necessary thought. Necessary thoughts. And the last is called waste thoughts. Waste. What are waste thoughts? Thoughts of the past, worrying about the past, being anxious about the future. Those are waste thoughts. Can I go and change anything in my past? I cannot. So those are really waste thoughts. Where should the waste go? The waste goes in a trash can or a waste bin or a dustbin. And we've been accumulating all this waste for such a long period of time. It's like I have this marker and I'm holding on to this, right? So I hold on to this. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, one day. I don't move. I'm holding on to it. What will happen after some time? After some time, my hand will get paralyzed, right? I will not have any sensation. So this is what we've been doing with waste thoughts. We've been keeping it in this tiny little space, the soul, for many, many years. Things someone told me many years ago. They would have said that and gone. They would not even remember what they said. But I'm the one still carrying it with me after so many years. When I see that person after many years, I still feel uncomfortable. When I see someone who hurt me, my heart starts palpitations, and I feel anxious and all of that. So what did I do? That means I'm still holding on to all the waste that someone else dumped on me. So that means I became someone else's um, garbage truck or trash can. And I very happily just took it, kept it with me, and I've been preserving it for such a long time. What happens to a trash after many years if you don't take it out? It starts stinking, right? Same thing happens when we hold on to grudges of the past, emotions of the past, feelings, someone else's behavior, everything of my past. What happens after many, many years? It starts stinking, meaning it starts giving out that smell. So if I have anger in me for many years, it'll start giving out anger in the form of little irritations and frustrations. So smallest thing will kind of irritate me. Yeah? So that means that I definitely have a lot of hidden anger in me. Right? Say if I have a hidden emotion of greed, or my desires not being fulfilled, again it will lead to things of comparison and jealousy and not being happy. It takes away my happiness. So when we hold on to a lot of waste, this is what happens to us. So what do we need to do now? I know that the mind creates this many thoughts. We don't even remember our thoughts since morning. The reason is because 85% of our thoughts are waste thoughts. And because 85% of our thoughts are waste thoughts, I don't even remember them. It's like you have a machine, you're putting in junk. It's not even recycling it. You're just putting in junk, and what it's giving out is junk. What is the efficiency of the machine? It's zero, because the input is not worthy, the output is not worthy. It's zero. the efficiency is 0. So that's what is happening. We're creating so many thoughts inside, waste thoughts inside, that our efficiency, our output becomes 0. Have you ever experienced that you don't do anything physical, like anything physically tiring, but you're just sitting all day and you decide to take, a day off. You're just sitting, relaxing, watching TV all day, not doing much physically. But at the end of the day, you still feel so exhausted. You're like, I'm so tired. You didn't do anything physical. No cleaning, no dusting, no dishes, no vacuuming, nothing. You were just there watching TV, maybe cooked a little bit, but just very light. But still, I'm exhausted. Why? Because we mentally get exhausted. Why? Because even though I was not doing anything physically, the mind was constantly creating thoughts, the machinery was on, and the output was 0, the efficiency is 0. So it definitely was not charging me, but it was discharging me because I was generating waste. So even if you're sitting in front of the TV, so what do news channels do? They're constantly repeating the same news over and over again, and I'm sitting and watching, and it's the same repetition that keeps on happening inside. It's like reinforcing the same thing over and over again in terms of thoughts, and then I get exhausted. I didn't do anything. I was just watching TV. Maybe a movie, some news, then movie, then news, then something else, then news, then WhatsApp, then news. I only did that, but I'm still tired because the mind was constantly working. And because the mind was constantly working, not in terms of creating, positive thoughts, but it was working for creating waste, for processing waste information, for generating waste. It was just working with waste. So definitely the mind will get tired. So can we stop the mind from thinking? And remember, we have the chat window open. You can ask your questions in the chat window. You can answer in your chat window. I'm able to see if you write something there. And we of course have Sister Hiral who will be answering the chats, but your questions. So can we stop the mind from thinking? Do you think we can stop the mind from thinking? Can the mind just stop? No thoughts? No. The mind cannot stop thinking. The mind will think. The role of the mind is to think. That's the duty of the mind, to think. But what do we do in meditation? We change from here to positive. Okay, we change our thoughts. There's also another fifth category of thought, which is called elevated thoughts. And elevated thoughts are more like not just for my personal benefit, but elevated thoughts are more on a bigger or an unlimited scale for the world, not just myself. Right? So in meditation, the thoughts that I'm creating are elevated thoughts. Okay, not just for me, but for everyone. So it's like, in the Brahma Kumaris, we have the slogan that self-transformation leads to world transformation. So if I want to see a better world, if I want to see a peaceful world, I have to be peaceful. I have to start experiencing peace. When I am peaceful, the world becomes peaceful, right? So in meditation, what we do is every now and then stop and check. Like if I were to ask you right now, stop. What are you thinking? What are you thinking right now? Some of you might say, nothing. I'm just listening to you. I'm just thinking about the mind. I'm just thinking about the thoughts, but I'm just listening to you. Or many times you're like, if someone just asks us something, that what are you thinking? And we'll be like, nothing. Right? And someone said nothing. Um, it cannot be nothing. The mind is thinking something. Again, because I'm not aware of what the mind is even thinking. The mind is like this wild horse. It keeps running. it's so used to running haywire that we have given up that, oh, I can ever control my mind. And when we look at, the topics on mindfulness and people talking about, controlling your mind or make your mind your best friend or positive thinking, and people talk about positive thinking, but how do we think positive? What is positive thinking? People don't talk a lot about how do we think positive. So tell me this, do you remember the first time you started thinking? Do you remember the first time you started thinking as a child? No. So we don't remember when we started thinking, right? So, because again, the soul is in the body, the mind is a part of the soul, the mind just automatically starts thinking. We don't even remember what our first thought was, because then we've had so many after that. We don't remember our first thought. So, nobody can teach us how to think, but we can definitely teach you what to think, right? So meditation teaches us what to think. So what to think? Think positive, think elevated. Some people create these positive affirmations for the self only, right? I'm not concerned about the world, whatever happens in the world, but we live in this world. We are part of this world. How can we not think about the world? When I think only negative thoughts about the world, what is the world receiving from me? When I look at outside and say, oh my, it's May and it's still cold outside. What are we giving to the nature? We know summer is hot, we know winter is cold. But every time the summer comes, we're like so hot, so hot, so hot. And every year winter comes and like so cold, oh so cold. It is winter, it is summer. When it's winter, we say, oh, summer should come. When it's summer, oh, it's so hot, it's so hot. So for everything, we look at the other side that, you know, oh, but we always start complaining about things that we don't have. But let us appreciate what we have. Mhm. Can I just sit and look outside and say, oh wow, beautiful, spring is coming. It's late, but good. Leaves are coming. Oh, I see the grass turning green. Still good. So then what am I giving nature is hope. What am I giving nature is love. So we live in this world and it is our duty to contribute something towards the world and nature. Now, every thought has a feeling with it. Every thought has a feeling. Let's do an activity. Okay. You can sit with your eyes open or closed. I'm going to give you some thoughts. So, you are in your home. You are walking towards the kitchen. You see yourself walking towards the kitchen. You open the refrigerator. You take a piece of lemon, cut it in half, and squeeze the half in your mouth. What happened? What happened? Did you taste the lemon? Any answers? You can write it in the chat window. But you tasted the lemon? There was, yeah, you feel the taste. There is no, yeah, there is no lemon. You are not in the kitchen. There is no knife. But what you just did is a meditation on lemon. What you experienced was the taste that lemon has to offer. You didn't experience sweet. Yeah, you experienced the taste of lemon, which is sour, because that's the taste of lemon. In the same way, when we look at news or when we look at negative scenes, and when I think about that, I'm actually connecting through my thoughts to those scenes. And every thought has a feeling. So when I see the news of people dying, what is the feeling? Sad. When I keep seeing so many people dying, this is what is happening, this is going on, yeah, continuously I'm seeing that, I'm seeing that, I'm seeing that. What is the feeling that I'm reinforcing again and again and again? It is the feeling of sadness. It is a feeling of fear. It's the feeling of anxiety. Who is doing that? I'm doing it to myself, not the other person. They are just showing the news. They're doing their job. I'm looking at it. I'm creating the thoughts and I am experiencing it. So, in a way, I am the reason for my sorrow. No one else. No one else. They're just playing their part. They're just doing what they do. Everyone, every relationship, they're just doing what they do. I am taking the pain. I am taking the sorrow. I am holding on to it. I keep thinking about it. And I am generating the same feeling again and again. So, if I want to change that feeling in me, the feeling of sadness, the feeling of being helpless, the feeling of being angry, the feeling of irritation, what do I need to do? I need to change my thoughts. I need to change the way I think. Okay. Just now, when you did the exercise on lemon and you visualize, you actually saw yourself, right? In the house, you saw the knife, you saw yourself cut it. So if we say that the mind is the wild horse, so to control the horse, you need the reins, and that is the intellect. So the intellect does two things. One is the intellect decides, discerns, decides. Should I do it, not do it, good, bad, decides. And the second thing that the intellect does is visualize. So when you saw yourself in the house with the lemon knife, it was the intellect visualizing. Okay. And then whatever impression is created based on that thought or the action is the sanskar. Okay. So every thought has a feeling. Every feeling is registered in the soul in the form of sanskar. Every action that we perform is registered in the soul in the form of sanskar. It's impression. Okay. Now, yesterday we just touched base on this, that each one of us is unique, and the reason that each one of us is unique because each one of us have different sanskars. We feel differently, we express differently. Just as we shared yesterday that 4 people in the family will react differently to the same situation, will feel differently for the same person, will feel differently for one particular situation. Why? Because it's coming from my sanskars, my thought pattern, my how have I led my life and everything. So it's all there in the soul. So sanskars are more like the 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 storage in the soul, like everything being stored in the soul. So think about it. What would be the storage capacity of the soul? Like all this terabyte and all this is nothing. The storage capacity of the soul is like too large, right? Too much, because it's not just storing the thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions of this birth, but of previous birth and previous birth and the birth before that and the birth before that. So many births. Hmm? So think about it. This tiny little point of light, who I am, has so much, information in there. Okay. So let's understand how this works. So let me just give you an example of a certain habit. Um, say smoking, for example. Um, so say this guy meets his friends for the first time, and he sees them smoking for the first time, and they offer him a cigarette, and he says, based on the previous information that was told to him, the mind will create thoughts. Cigarette smoking is injurious to health, not good. What if my family comes to know? And the intellect at the same time is deciding really quickly, do not do. Karu, nahi karu. Should I do it? Not do it. Should I do it? Not do it. That's happening really fast. Okay, so the mind is creating these thoughts, and the intellect at the same time is discerning, deciding, should I do it? Not do it. Good, bad, good. Now, weak intellect might say, try it once, nothing wrong, just try it. So he takes, so here is the mind, here is the intellect, here is the sanskar. Okay. So the mind is designing, the intellect is like yes, no, yes, no. The intellect says do it. The action is performed. He takes the first smoke, right? The first whiff. An impression is created. Now he goes home, parents don't come to know, he sleeps. Good. The next day he gets up, he finishes his work and everything, and he meets his friends again. They are smoking again. They're like, do you want to take a smoke? Now, what are the thoughts that he'll get? He'll again get the thoughts, oh, I tried it once. Now I don't want to try it again. I don't want to get into the habit. The intellect is again deciding yes, no, yes, no. The mind is like, oh, wait. Then based on this impression, the thoughts will come. How did it feel? It felt good. It's not that bad. I think I can go for it again. I have control. I won't create a habit. I know how to control myself. Let's just give them company. Let me do it again. Takes again. Now, the intellect was still deciding, okay, let's do it again. Okay, does again. What happens? Deep, right? It's reinforced. Second time, third time, fourth time, 10th time, 100th time. What happened to the impression? Do you think after the 10th or the 20th time, the intellect even decides, should I do it, not do it? Do you think the intellect even decides, karu, nahi karu, should I do it, not do it? The intellect stops deciding. So it's only a conversation, mind, sanskar. Let's take a smoke. Okay. Action is performed, impression. Based on the impression, get the feeling, smoke. Action performed, impression. Based on the feeling, smoke. Action performed, impression. This is habit. When we do something over and over again without any support of the intellect, it is a habit. Habits could be good, bad, any habit. Smoking, drinking, snoozing the alarm, waking up a certain time, habit of laziness, procrastination, um, habit of eating late, habit of sleeping late, habit of getting up late, any habit, this pattern, the intellect has stopped working. Now, can we change our habits? You can answer in the chat box. Can we change our habits? Good. Yes. So we can change our habits. How can we change our habits? How can we change our habits? Okay. By changing our thoughts. But remember, who is the one that is sleeping in habit? The intellect. So if I want to change my habit, I have to awaken the intellect. I have to awaken the intellect. I have to get the intellect involved. We did the lemon exercise, right? If I were to do that exercise again with you, how many of you think you would get the same experience again? Very few. Because what you will say, the mind will be like, ha, I know what she's saying. Oh, I know, I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. So what is happening during that I know, I know, I know? So what is the conversation? It's the mind. I know, because this is what it was. I know I experienced it last time. Yes, I know, I know. Is the intellect even visualizing anything at that time? No. The intellect is not visualizing anything. Because the intellect is not visualizing anything, I will not get the experience. So how many times I tell you now, see the lemon, squeeze the lemon in your mouth. See the lemon, squeeze the lemon. Till you are working in sync with the mind, the intellect, and the impression, all three working in one sync, I will not be able to experience. That is why our waste thoughts throughout the day, if I were to ask you this question, how has your day been today? We just have a very standard answer. Nice, good, okay, standard. But if I ask you, what did you feel today? What were you feeling since morning? Do you have an answer? What were you feeling since morning? Were you feeling any of the virtues? Was it an ordinary day? Were you feeling anything? If I was thinking positive thoughts, my feeling will be good, happy, positive, peaceful, good, overall feeling. If I was busy creating a lot of waste, that means I was in waste. I will not be even, I will not be able to, um, I will not be able to even realize ki what am I feeling? ठीक है, I mean, ठीक ही है, I mean, okay, nothing great, I mean, okay, normal day, normal. So that is when I understand the moment I say normal, okay, that means I was busy with waste. Okay, so all these three have to work in sync. Now, how do I awaken the intellect? He said, if I want to change my habit, I have to awaken the intellect. What is needed to awaken the intellect? The intellect gets awakened by knowledge, not information, but knowledge. Knowledge is separate from information. There is a lot of information out there. How many times we receive these WhatsApp messages of positive thoughts? How many of, I think everyone receives them, because we have our very close friends and relationships who think good for us, and they've been, forwarding these messages to us, and we wake up to these messages of positive thoughts. How many of us practice that thought? When you read that message, say, wow, this is for me. Let me practice this today. You can raise your hand there. How many of you look at that? I'm going to practice this today. And you make an effort to practice that throughout the day. And how many of you, when you see the message, oh, nice message, good for this one, good for this one, let me forward it. Tuck, 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 forward it, phone closed. There are millions of positive messages floating around. Why are millions of people not becoming positive? Because no one thinks that it is for me. We always think it is for them. So there is a lot of information out there which can be converted into knowledge, and knowledge can be converted into power. We've heard this, knowledge is power. When does knowledge become power? When I practice that knowledge, it becomes power. What knowledge is power? Is knowledge of science power? Knowledge of geography power? Knowledge of history? Knowledge of astronomy? Engineering? Computers? What knowledge is power? What knowledge is power? It is this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, which is power. Because once I know who I am, once I know how to take care of myself, how to take care of my thoughts, feelings, emotions, behavior, habits, I become a powerful person. And once I am in control of my thoughts, feelings, emotions, I can take care of everything around me. And this is how we transform knowledge into power. Otherwise, knowledge just stays as knowledge. It's not transformed into power till I practice it. So, to awaken the intellect, what I need is knowledge. And not just knowledge in the way of like, inert knowledge that, okay, I heard this, good, good, good. But no, have to put it into practice. So, how many of you actually did the homework that we talked about yesterday about just walking around with the awareness that I am a soul? Going to- Yeah. How many of you did the homework? You can raise your hand in there. I don't see any hands, so nobody did the homework. There's a raise hand button. If you raise your hand, we'll see a raise hand there. So, okay, if I have not done it, that means I took the knowledge and it's just sitting there. I did convert it into power. And what will happen is after 2-3 days, 10 days, you'll be like, oh, how was the meditation class? Someone asks you, I knew most of it. I know the knowledge. Yeah, I've heard all this. I know it. Did I experience it? Unless I experience it, I will not be able to share how it was. I mean, I will not do justice to share how it was, right? So, I request you to practice what is being taught so that you are able to experience. And the reason that we say this is because I have been practicing this for many years and I have seen the benefit of it for many years. And this is why we share this with you so that whatever we have benefited, we want you to benefit. This is why we share knowledge. And this is why all classes, everything offered by Brahma Kumaris is free of charge. We don't charge, there's no fee for registration, right? Because we truly, truly want to bring benefit to people of the world. We truly want to bring benefit. So if someone's life is transformed, there's no price tag to it. Nobody can attach a price tag to, oh, my life was transformed. No, it's priceless, right? And the person will give you blessings. And what more do we need? So please practice whatever we talk about, right? Unless you practice it, your questions will not be answered. I can sit here and answer all your questions that you have, okay, which will still be theory. The intellect will get the knowledge, the intellect will get the answers to the questions, but there won't be any sanskar or impression created because I did not practice anything. So I had questions, the mind raised questions, the intellect got the answers. What after that? I didn't do anything after that. What's the output? Nothing. We go back to our old routine. We go back to the way we were feeling before. I didn't pay attention to change. All right. So please, please, please do your homework and practice what is being taught here. So let's do a meditation now. And remember, in meditation, the mind, intellect, and sanskar, or the impression, all three are working together. It's like you're in this session, You might not remember word to word what was spoken in the session, but when you go back with the feeling. The feeling of it was good, the feeling was not good, whatever, right? So you go back with a feeling, which is the sanskar. And the feeling is what will bring you back. If you really experienced peace, if you really experienced this, if the soul really experienced a sense of attainment, the soul will want to come and get more. No? So everything is based on the sanskars. And sanskars are something like an iceberg, right? Like an iceberg, 90% is in the water, only 10% is visible. So sanskars are like that. 90% is hidden, only 10% is visible. So whatever we see as our habits or our personality, it's only 10% of what we are actually inside. Okay. Um, so sanskars are also called the subconscious. So this is our conscious mind and that's our subconscious mind. So sanskars is also the subconscious mind. And we all have heard the power of subconscious mind, right? The subconscious mind is really powerful. So if I actually want to change my habit, I have to awaken the intellect with knowledge, practice that. So I create new impressions. And after, when I create new impressions, the old habit or the old sanskar automatically changes. Like usually someone tells us like we wake up early morning for meditation, and some people are we can't get up that early. Excuse me. Why? Because we sleep late. I can't go to bed before midnight. Okay, can I change that habit? No, I don't get sleep before midnight. All right. Can I get the habit of waking up 30 minutes earlier? 15 minutes earlier, and slowly, when I get up 15 minutes early, maybe the first night I won't feel sleepy till midnight again, but the next day I will sleep early. The third day, little more. This is how we change our habits. So we don't just do it, but slowly. Remember, because the habit was formed after a consistency of over a period of time. So even now, if I have to change it, I have to keep changing it, right, over a period of time, but in increments. Not that, okay, 15 minutes for one whole month, I'm doing 15 minutes early only, and it won't make much of a difference, right? So I have to keep on changing it in little increments every day. That's how habits are changed. So now, if we have, you know, um, too many um, things going on in the world. I'm very sensitive to it. I feel, I feel, I feel the pain. I feel sorrow. I feel sensitive to everything. I react very easily. That means I'm operating from I'm operating from my sanskars. I'm not operating using my intellect, which is using knowledge. So in the Brahma Kumaris, what we practice is an SOS. Stop, observe, and then steer, meaning respond. So we don't react. React is like react, and respond is like after a second. So I understand it and then I respond. So this is how we practice, right? So let's do a meditation. I want you to activate your intellect, because if your intellect is not visualizing in meditation, you're not actually connected, because you will not get the experience otherwise, right? And that's why we showed you the video of how the soul looks like, so the intellect can visualize how the soul looks like. Okay, so sit comfortably. Sitting comfortably is important, because not too comfortable like lying on the bed where I fall asleep, but just sitting straight, body straight, feet on the ground or cross. You don't necessarily have to sit in a particular mudra or anything like that, but just comfortable on a chair or wherever you're sitting, but straight, because then all our our energy is like straight. And this is an open-eyed meditation, um, because it's more of creating an awareness throughout the day. So we leave our eyes open, but initially you might find it difficult to leave your eyes open, and that's fine. But eventually, try to get into the practice of leaving your eyes open. Because what happens is, see, if I want to, I can only experience peace if my eyes are closed and I'm able to focus. But throughout the day, we do things or perform actions with our eyes open. That means that if I want to experience peace in a meeting, I have to sit like this. And what will others see? Right? So I cannot withdraw suddenly and say, oh, I have to experience peace, excuse me. And I go and sit in my this thing of peace and go there. And so the practice of Rajuka meditation is more of creating an awareness, that I can actually be aware even while talking, moving around, meeting people, driving, doing everything. And that's where the practice of open-eyed meditation really helps. So if you think you can't leave your eyes open, you can look down so that there's no more distraction. But you just look down with your eyelids a little closed and little open. So like half open, half closed like that. And you're just looking down. Just focus on one point on the floor. And if you think you have to close your eyes, that's okay. But try to keep practicing it with open eyes. So today I learned that I am a divine, virtuous being. I operate in this body using the mind, the intellect, and the sanskars. The mind creates a thought, the intellect decides and discerns, and the sanskars are the impressions. So let me sit with the thought for the next few moments. I want to experience love. So let me create a thought about love. What is love? Love is a virtue of either soul. I am loveful. What is true love? True love is accepting, is forgiving, is empowering, is caring, supporting. It's beyond judgments, beyond attachments and insecurities. I, the soul, when I stabilize myself as a being of love, I don't expect love, but I am love. I have the capacity to share love. Let me remove the layer of attachment or ego that stops the flow of my love. I know it is not true. Ego is not true. Attachment gives me sorrow. As I stabilize myself as this being of love, love radiating from my forehead, from my eyes. When I look at someone, I look at them with the awareness that I am a loveful soul, a loveful being. I look beyond the body. True love is liberating. Om Shanti. So when I stabilize myself in these virtues or this awareness, so say right now we practice love. So maybe this is something that you can take today, that as you move around with the awareness that I'm an angel of love or I'm a being of love. And when you see someone, just look at them with love. In the world now, people think love is like telling 100 times that I love you or hugging, kissing. That's not love, right? That's just, it's expressed in a very outwardly or a physical way. But pure love doesn't need to be said 100 times that I love you. It'll automatically, I will not have to make an effort to prove that I love you. It will automatically be shown in my actions. I will not get tired of showing pure love. Like sometimes we feel that, oh, how much should I show now that I love you? Now, of course, excuse me, that means that when I have to make an effort, that means I'm not coming from an authentic place of being love. I am trying to fake it. So if I'm trying to fake it, um, I will not be able to sustain it for a long period of time. So coming from this true, authentic self, that I am a loveful soul, it's okay if I've forgotten it, but I'm remembering it right now. And I'm going to practice it right now. I'm going to bring it into my awareness that I am a loveful soul. So when I look at someone, they will automatically feel that love, right? So you can practice of peace, think of sunset, think of, practice happiness, think of your last vacation, happy time. How was it? How did you feel? So meditation is nothing but a conversation between the mind and intellect, where the intellect is questioning, reasoning, and the mind is answering, creating thoughts. So how do we actually create positive and elevated thoughts? Again, awakening the intellect, which kind of starts questioning the mind. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? If you don't know, okay, let me give you a thought. Think this. So the intellect, based on the knowledge, will start giving thoughts to the mind. which will kind of direct the mind. So if the mind is a horse, wild horse running around, the intellect is the rein which directs the horse. Okay, go here, turn right, go left, go straight, go speed, less speed, all that. So if the intellect is powerful, mind will automatically be under control, and our sanskars, which are our impressions, will automatically be elevated. So if I, if you think about, and every day, even like right now, our sanskars are being created with every thought, every feeling, everything. So if I were to ask you, like, do you remember last year, today's date, what were you doing? Unless it's your birthday, anniversary, someone's birthday, something special, we will not remember. If it was just the 10th of May last year, we wouldn't remember. And 10th of May was not Mother's Day last year. So we will not remember what we did, right? So nothing, right? But if I were to ask you yesterday at this time, what were you doing? Your memory is still fresh, right? Because your sanskars are still fresh because it was yesterday. So it's like sanskars are like layers, no? So the new fresh layer is of yesterday, but our past goes down, goes down. But sometimes it pops up because someone triggers it with certain words or certain things, and then it just comes up. Oh, all the feelings, everything comes up. It's like a volcano, right? It just comes out. So we have to make ourselves powerful enough to not be triggered by these um, little little tweaks that people give us or situations give us. Not that we don't care, it's just that I don't want to go through that pain and suffering again, right? So, any questions? Anyone? So I'm going to unmute you, but okay, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can write it in the box, or Hero Ben can actually read the questions.
Om Shanti. So somebody has a question. If you can please explain impressions again. They understand mind and intellect, but if you can explain impression again.
Okay. So impressions. So impressions are impressions. It's like you perform an action, an impression is created. Then you do it again, reinforce, reinforce. So that's impression. So everything that we do, all our habits, knowingly, unknowingly, everything that we do comes from our sanskar. So sanskar is more like our subconscious mind. So it's also it's also like an account of all our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's the impression. That's the sanskar. It's like everything that is stored in the soul. So when the soul leaves the body, what does it take with itself?
Impression.
Well, it takes the impressions. So when the soul leaves the body, it takes with itself all the impressions. And that's why we discussed yesterday, when a child is born, we look at the child and say the child is born with a certain defect, deformity, disease, and we look and say, what did this child do? Because the soul carried the sanskars from previous birth to a new birth, and it's continuing it, right? So we are continuing our journey. We meet different people on our journey called life. We meet, we interact, we think they are my own and all that. And it's time to get off the station, and we get off, but we continue our journey, right? Our journey doesn't end there. So impressions are like a net account of everything that is in the soul. Okay.
Okay,
Any other questions?
is there a video link to yesterday's session? And then the second question was, is there a possibility that you can speak a little Hindi so some older people may understand?
No. I can. Yes, I can. But then it'll just take the sessions a little longer because I'll have to keep translating because some don't understand any Hindi at all, I think. But I'll try to. Okay. Yes, there is a link to the video that I showed or the session. Well, I tried to upload it on YouTube yesterday. The file was so big, it was taking a lot of time, and then eventually it said 99% processing, and then said didn't upload. So I'm going to work on it again today. I'm sorry. Today, yesterday's session and today's session, both I will upload it. So during the week, you can review it, and I'll send you the link. I will send everyone the link so you can refresh. And when you come on Saturday, make sure you come prepared and doing your homework. So your homework is to check your thoughts, awaken the intellect, keep filtering the information that you're taking in. Because remember, every little information that I'm taking in, where is it going? Everything goes to the sanskar. Everything I take, feeling, goes to the sanskar. So every information that I take, it is registered there. Okay. So if I actually want to work on my sanskars, make them more peaceful, then what do I have to take? I have to take peaceful information, knowledge, right? So knowledge, someone asked a question, I think difference between knowledge and information. And knowledge is empowering, information is information, lot of information. I can filter that information, convert it into knowledge. I can convert knowledge into power by practicing the knowledge. So that's the difference. So next Saturday, same time, 11 o'clock.
Can
Any other
you
questions? Yes.
change the pen of writing because it's very light and sometimes hard to read what you wrote. So
Oh, so yes, I was trying something new today. You couldn't read today?
no. So can you have
Little
like
bit?
a
It's not visible?
darker? No. Can
It's
you
a
have
little blurry. It's a
like a
little
marker or black marker or
Ah, okay, sure, sure.
because your pen is little bit lighter, so it doesn't come out.
Acha, okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, the little we can read. It's not a problem that we don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I changed the thing. I thought this will be better. Okay, sure.
You
I'll
make
get a.
the bottom part is dark, so it can be like you can see clearly.
Okay.
But the letters is not like maybe
Okay.
we are little bit old age people, so
Mm,
No,
No,
I
no,
think
I think, yeah. Okay, I'll change it.
I think when you record the video and watch it, you'll see that what you're writing is not very visible.
Mm, Okay.
that's not my point.
I'll
Visibly,
check it.
it's not visible little.
Meaning it's not legible on our
So
own.
I see a question. Uh, Can you do Raj Yoga and lead a normal life? Because many people taking it is going to become swamis and so on. So you can definitely lead a normal life with Raj Yoga. You don't leave your home family and become a sannyasi. So I very much live at home with family, and it's more of the awareness that we practice. It's more of certain disciplines in life that we practice, and it's just like, think about it, when we go to the gym and we take a gym membership, right? And we go to the gym, the membership drives us to go to the gym, or our weight drives us to go to the gym, and we go to the gym, we work out. So people work out like for an hour, 2 hours, because they want to lose that weight or to become strong, or build muscles, or whatever the reason is. So we spend that much time every day, say even 30 minutes every day in the gym, or doctors even say 30 minutes of walk. And remember, that is for the physical body. So when we are spending 30 minutes a day for physical body, how much exercise am I giving to the soul? So how much exercise, how much time am I spending for myself, the soul? Like we see a chair, and chair has 4 legs, and a chair is stable when all the 4 legs are equal. Even if one leg is weak, then the chair becomes unstable. So in our life, in this life, we have 4 legs or 4 aspects, right? One is our personal life, one is our professional life, one is our social life, and one is our spiritual life. Personal life is family, relationships, professional life, social life, and spiritual life. And if you order them, rank them, we will see that we pay number 1 to our professional life, 2 social life, third becomes personal, and fourth is spiritual. So if one of the legs is weak, which is the spiritual is weak, can my life be stable? It cannot. So in this practice of Raj Yoga, we say Raj Yoga is more of awakening the intellect. It's more of understanding knowledge practically. It's not a blind faith. In the Brahma Kumaris, we don't have a guru, so we don't follow guru. We truly follow the knowledge, right, that God gives. This is spiritual knowledge. This is spiritual knowledge. It's not religion. Religion is different from spirituality. People sometimes mix religion and spirituality. Religion has religious founders, and religion is different. Religion took the path of devotion. Spirituality is the study of spirit, which is the soul. Spirituality is empowering. Spirituality is understanding. Spirituality is based on knowledge. So for a spiritual lifestyle, like not necessarily everyone has to start wearing a white, right? We wear white because just like in a school, remember, like in school, we used to have school uniform. Those who went to school in India, we grew up wearing a uniform in school. So in the Brahma Kumaris, this is more like a school, spiritual school, where we wear a uniform. But when we have a session and all, we wear a uniform. Some of us wear this most of the time because we decide to dedicate our life to this service, so we choose to wear it. But there's no compulsion. If tomorrow and if I'm working, I will not go to work wearing a sari, right? I will wear what is needed to go to work. So we live in this world. We don't live like sannyasis. We live in this world. We stay happy. We are peaceful. Everything, but it's not coming from a place of greed. It's not coming from a place of attachment. It's not coming from a place of temporary and external. It's more coming from a place of internal. So Raj Yoga is an inside out approach rather than an outside in approach. So it's more like we target on the soul, thoughts, feelings, everything inside, and then it comes into action. So yeah, we don't leave home, family, anything.
Om Shanti.
Okay, G.
Om Shanti.
Okay, everyone. Thank you. I'll
Yeah,
send you the link of the recording, and Saturday it's at 11 o'clock. We'll
yeah.
talk about Supreme Soul or God next Saturday. Thank you. Have a great week.
you.
Please practice your homework. I'll send you some material for you to read and some homework points too. Okay? Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.